Welcome to Effortless Qigong. My name is Jared and I'm doing a short live here because I want to talk about the importance of getting regular high quality sleep. For the longest time I was not that attentive to my sleep. I feel like it's something that our parents teach us when we're young, oh, go to bed on time. But as we get older, make sure to stay up. At least for me, I started to stay up later, and through a lot of my teens and early 20s, I didn't really respect sleep probably as much as I should. And I think modern science is really going and showing us that sleep is one of the most important health practices that we can do in our lives. And I want to talk a bit about that. I want to talk a bit about how high quality sleep plays into the role of stress and energy management, but also building a high quality, rewarding, and enjoyable Qigong practice. Because we want to not only enjoy our Qigong practice, the exploration of our mind, our body, and our energy, but we also want to have our Qigong practice allow us to have less stress and more energy throughout our week. And so, make sure that that is not on. Cool. So yeah, let's start by taking 3 deep breaths into the nose, out of the mouth, and in through the nose. Exhale with a sigh, and again. So let me dive into a short story here. So about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I came down with a flu and I was really sick. So for about 7 or 8 days, at night, I realized I wasn't sleeping very well. And I know this partly because of how I felt. Like even though I was sleeping, I was waking up a lot and I had a fever. And one night I was really sick, so I was constantly running to the bathroom. But what I also did and do every night is I measure my sleep with my Oura ring, which measures how long you sleep, your deep sleep, your REM, if you're tossing and turning, it measures your heart rate, all these different biomarkers for how well you sleep, okay? And what I realized was that when I was sick, I could see on my data, my health data, that my sleep regularity went way down to the bottom. And with that, so did my heart rate variability, which is an important biomarker for stress. And so did my resistance. So my resistance went all the way to 0 because I basically didn't sleep very well for about 7 days. Even though I was getting like some nights 7 or 8 hours of sleep during that time that I was sick, I wasn't getting any deep sleep or any REM. So I wasn't actually fully sleeping during that time. And now that following that flu, not sleeping well for about a week, I noticed that my stress levels and my ability to deal with stresses was really low. So I was like frustrated and stressed out with things. I wasn't being very patient. I use ChatGPT a lot when I'm stressed to kind of help me process things. And so I was just going on and on. I was really down, okay? And people might be like, well, Jared, you're a Qigong teacher. What do you mean you were stressed and feeling down? Well, the reality is that the human body is really complex. And Qigong is just one habit, sort of a system of influences on the body, okay? And so for me, not sleeping was really bad for me. And as I started to sleep again, as my flu subsided, I began to notice that my sleep regularity on my Oura ring, which is this little device here, I was able to measure that sleep regularity going up, and then slowly, eventually, my resilience has started to rise up because I'm not a perfect sleeper. I don't get like 100 sleep score every night, but I usually get between 85 and 90 or 80 to 90% on my sleep score, and I'm trying to improve it, obviously. I'm I try to be as consistent as I can, because it's not only the quality of one night's sleep that matters, it's stringing together consecutive high quality sleep, okay? I was able to see my resilience to stress go way up, and then I felt a lot better. And so that's just one short story, one example of the importance of getting high quality sleep when it comes to dealing with stress and tension and anxiety. And I've been following Brian Johnson's work. If you know who Brian Johnson is, he's a tech millionaire who's worth hundreds of millions of dollars. He spends about $2 million a year on his health. And what he's trying to do is prolong how long he can live and the quality of his life. What he discovered was that sleep is the most important health habit that we can do to prolong our life. And he's also saying in recent posts as well, and I think this makes sense, that a lot of our anxiety, depression, mental health issues that we're dealing with in society is because we're not sleeping. We're too stimulated, we're not sleeping, we're not taking naps, we're overstressing ourselves, we're overworking our minds and our nervous systems. And so one of the things we can start to do to actually regain health without even necessarily doing anything that's overly expensive, we can just sleep more. Start finding a way to track your sleep quality, whether it's an Oura ring. I know their Oura rings are kind of expensive, so there's cheaper things like Fitbit, or if you have an Apple Watch, start using that. Like whatever you resonate with and works for you and fits into your budget. I really think it's important to measure our sleep scores every night and build consistent habits. Brian Johnson, this guy spent $2 million a year on his health, has discovered, and he's like a whole team of scientists that back him up and stuff, that sleep is one of the most important things that is the most important thing we can do for our health. So, what's the next thing? So yeah, and I think that is something I really want to continue to develop in my own life, and I think it's important to really take sleep seriously. Brian Johnson says that we should think of ourselves as professional sleepers, and that it should be like first and foremost what we're doing. And so I recently posted in the community section on my channel here one of Brian Johnson's posts where he's challenging everyone this week to have a little evening routine. So you can check that out in my community section here on the channel, and I'm gonna do that because even though my sleep quality is good, I know it can be better, and I know that I can do better with my habits, right? We're humans, and habits are incredibly hard to change, and they're hard to maintain, and this is true for me, it's true for probably most of us out there. So patience is key, persistence is important, and but also a willingness and a seriousness is going to be important here too, because without health, there's not, like, if you're like, let's say you were like a multi-millionaire and you achieved everything you want in life, but you were really unhealthy, like you couldn't even go to bed. You're like, let's say you're 40 years old, you're super sick and stressed, and you've got no energy and you're suffering all the time. Well, that's not going to, no amount of money or fame or success or whatever really matters without having health. Health is wealth. So my thought process is, because I'm someone who is interested in developing genuine wealth in my life, and I think one of the ways to develop wealth is to study it and to approach it over the long term, and to be very persistent and disciplined and develop holistic wealth over the long term. And the foundation of wealth for me, I think Brian Johnson's teaching this, and this guy's worth hundreds of millions of dollars, is that we should be building our success in our lives from a place of health. Because like when we're sleeping regularly, we don't need to be perfect, and we're managing our stress well, and we're eating well, and our nutrition, all these things, we're going to be so much more effective in the things that we're doing in life. I think that just makes sense. They say that if we don't sleep, like let's say you only get like 3 hours of sleep or something, or less than 8 hours, you're basically drunk. And if you're doing that on a regular basis, you're not operating as well as you could. And I really think that buying an Oura ring or some sort of wearable device where you can measure your biometric data, and of course the more high quality that measurement tool you have is, the more biomarkers it measures, the better that's going to be for you, because you're able to see how your sleep is affecting you. Okay, so that's a bit about the importance of sleep. We really want to become masters of sleep. Take it seriously. If you're interested in living a long, healthy life, the science is showing us that sleep is fundamental. Getting 8 hours every night, making it a priority. And of course, sometimes we can't be perfect, but I think it's super important. And of course, I could do another live talking about, we should be investing in high quality beds and sheets and pillows and, and air conditioning systems and having the right air temperature and everything. All that's super important. Okay, now I want to connect that to the practice of Qigong. So Qigong is what I teach here at Effortless Qigong. I teach routines basically on the channel, and I'm going to be talking a bit more about Qigong theory. And like, Qigong is this ancient Chinese practice. Seems kind of weird. Like, why would I teach this thing if we have modern science? It turns out that we want to be pulling from whatever tradition works, whatever system works, for maximizing our health. Qigong is kind of like yoga if you've ever tried yoga, but it's fantastic for reducing stress and improving high quality energy. And we can also use it in the evening to unwind, to help improve our sleep. We can do it in the morning to energize ourselves. And then there's so many other aspects to Qigong which are just fantastic. But if we're not sleeping, it's not really going to work for us. And I've learned this the hard way in my life. Because it takes time to understand stress. Stress is a complicated situation, okay? There's so many different factors to it as a human. And I'm not going to talk about them all in this live, but I will probably have videos about them in the future, because I really want to understand stress, and I really want to create that dialogue with my community here in Effortless Qigong, because fundamental to health is understanding the holistic situation that we're dealing with as humans, okay? So let's get, what am I trying to say here? I think if you're really serious about energy management and you've been practicing Qigong, but you're still finding that you're feeling stressed, you're not having the energy during the day, like even sometimes you'll even do like an energizing morning routine. If you've ever done like an energizing Qigong routine and felt like you needed to take a nap afterward, that might be because you're not sleeping regularly. Because the Qigong is going to help to harmonize and rebalance the system, your nervous system, your mind-body system. And if you're really tired, Qigong might encourage you to go to bed. Because even though we might do an activating routine in the morning, Qigong is a gentle form of exercise. It is relaxing. And it also promotes homeostasis. So yeah, if you find after Qigong practice you really need to sleep, it might be worth looking into your sleep habits. But built off of a solid sleep routine, I think Qigong makes a lot of sense. Because sleep helps to repair our nervous system, helps to flush out toxins, it repairs the brain, it helps you to process information throughout the day. We want to make sure we're doing this every single day. And sleep also helps promote health and longevity. It's almost something to wonder about. We live in a society where there's so much toxic food, for example. Toxic food, toxic media, toxic work environments, and then we tend to ignore things like sleep. And then we look out at the world and we see all the chaos, right? It's like we can't expect as a society to eat bad foods, to not sleep enough, to not stretch, to not exercise, to not breathe, to not regulate our emotions, to not de-stress or take stress seriously and expect society to run well. It just doesn't make sense. And so I was really inspired by Brian Johnson's blueprint and his protocol, even though I have to admit, it's expensive, and so I personally can't afford this whole protocol. But I am inspired by it, and because I think it's important to think long term. I'm thinking long term, and I'm thinking, hey, if Brian Johnson's blueprint is so solid, then it's worth trying. It's worth investigating. It's worth learning more about. And I think Brian Johnson's core pillars of like sleep, nutrition, exercise. I would also add stress management into that for a lot of people. That these are the pillars of health and longevity, which is like core to what we're trying to do if we're developing a Qigong practice. And so yeah, we can't expect to have like a healthy relationships with others or our families or in society or at work if we're not taking our sleep seriously or our stress seriously or our emotions seriously or our nutrition seriously. Like, I wonder how much conflict in our society, whether it's domestic violence or crime or mental health issues or suicide, is somewhat related or highly related with how toxic our food system is. Pollution, heavy metals, lack of sleep, drugs and alcohol, right? Trauma, all these things are moving through our system. And so what do we do to sort of combat all of that stuff? I think we take control of our mind-body system. We invest in sleeping. If sleeping is the number one habit that promotes health, longevity, mental health, clarity, strong thinking, then sleep should be like one of the first things that we're investing in. And then I think Qigong is another great habit because when we are stretching and breathing and shaking and balancing our energy, that's fantastic as well. And Qigong combines everything. Like, there's a big push toward mindfulness and meditation, a big push toward, breathing and breath work and all these things. And, the importance of stretching and exercise, all these things are very popular. Well, Qigong combines all of those things. There's even people talking about the importance of visualization and setting high quality intentions. We do that in a Qigong practice. So that's great. So the point of this video is I'm just sort of rambling on about here at Effortless Qigong. One of the things I really want to stress, and I'm going to continue to talk about, and if you're on the newsletter, I'll probably do a newsletter in the next couple of weeks about this, but let's, as a community, really start to talk about the importance of high quality sleep and doing it regularly. Because we can't expect our Qigong practice to really work if we're not sleeping. It's like, I did all my Qigong, but I'm still feeling tired and groggy. It's because you need to rest. And actually in Qigong theory, if you've ever come across it, we talk about yin and yang. If you've ever heard of yin and yang, people think, what is yin and yang? Like these magical energy or something? No, yin and yang is a way of looking at opposites. Okay, so if you're up during the day and you're running around and you're busy, we would say that's yang. Because yang is generally active, it's warm, it's masculine, we're moving, we're doing stuff. But the more yang you are throughout the day, you notice you start to get tired. Why is that? It's because yang, taken to its limit, produces yin. Okay, so we know like you're really active all day, you start to get tired. And as you get tired, it's important that you yourself switch into yin mode, relaxation, sleep, de-stressing, having a break. And then when you're yin, when you need to be yin, you sleep all night, you get up in the morning, and then you can be yang. So that's essentially like a simple way of looking at how yin and yang theory can be applied to the importance of rest. If you're too yin all the time, well, it can also hurt your ability to be young. So all these things require balance. Okay. Closing statement, get some sleep. Check out Brian Johnson's work. Measure your sleep with some kind of wearable device, whether it's a Oura Ring or a Fitbit or whatever Whomp or whatever device you want to invest in to measure your sleep. Start to measure your sleep. Review it every day. Take your sleep seriously. Practice Qigong on a regular basis. Let's create a culture of people who value health. Yeah, that's good. Quagmire says he puts a scale under their pillow to measure their sleep because, you know, our sleep can way different. No, I'm just joking. That's funny though. But yeah, so I hope you're all doing well. Stay peaceful, stay healthy, relax, find some inner peace throughout the week, because there's lots of challenges facing Earth right now, facing humanity. But when we step into a leadership role in our own health, in our own mental health, in our own energy management, that will cause a ripple effect to those around us. When you're taking care of your health and you're solid in your determination to do so, you will eventually inspire other people as well. And if not, you will attract those to you who are interested in health and well-being. And so cultivate those relationships, cultivate those communities, and together we can make this world a more beautiful place. So thanks for tuning in. I'll talk to you soon. This has been Effortless Qigong. And if you haven't checked out Qigong before, you can check out my free videos here or check out the Effortless Qigong free 7-day challenge. Peace.